The U.S. tourism industry had been banking on a good year after the number of international visitors to the U.S. had jumped in 2024. But as CBS's Elise Preston reports from Los Angeles, tourists have changed their plans. Elise.
The U.S. is tracking a big drop in tourism from around the world. Take a look at this. Travel from Canada and Mexico was down double digits in March. We're also seeing fewer visitors from Western Europe, Central and South Asia, South America, I should say.
Here in New York, tourism is also being hit big time, once again driven by negative sentiment toward the USA.
Can you imagine a world where the United States, once the ultimate dream destination, is no longer the top choice for millions of travelers? Picture this. Iconic cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas with half-empty streets, hotels, slashing prices to fill vacant rooms, and theme parks echoing in silence. This isn't a dystopian fantasy. It's happening right now, in 2025, and almost no one is talking about it. In the last 30 days, hundreds of thousands of international visitors have vanished from American soil. The reason? A perfect storm of bureaucratic nightmares, cold border experiences, and a growing global perception that the U.S. is no longer the welcoming land of opportunity it once was. Today, we pull back the curtain to reveal 10 countries quietly turning their backs on American tourism and what this seismic shift means for the future. Before this truth fades into the background, like, subscribe, and brace yourself for a story no one else is telling. Country number 10, Argentina. For decades, Argentina sent waves of tourists to the United States, drawn by the dazzle of Times Square, the magic of Disney World, and the allure of California's coast. Argentines spent generously, filling hotels in Miami and malls in Chicago. But in 2025, something has shifted dramatically. Official figures show a staggering 28% drop in Argentine tourists in just 1 month. Over 15,000 fewer visitors in March compared to the previous year. What's driving this exodus? It's not just rising flight costs or the peso's devaluation. Travel agencies in Buenos Aires report a deeper issue. A growing sense of unease about entering the U.S. visa applications, once annoying but manageable, now feel like an exhausting interrogation. Stories of travelers detained for hours at U.S. airports over vague security concerns are spreading like wildfire. One family, the Martinezes from Cordoba, shared their ordeal. After spending thousands on a dream trip to Orlando, they were turned away at the border for reasons never fully explained. The humiliation stung more than the financial loss. Argentines, known for their resilience, are now choosing destinations like Brazil, Chile, or even Europe, where they feel respected rather than suspected. This isn't just a tourism statistic. It's a silent fracture in a once warm relationship. And when a nation known for its passion cools toward the U.S., the silence speaks volumes. Country number 9. Japan. Japan, a global tourism powerhouse, has always seen the United States as a cultural and economic magnet. From tech enthusiasts flocking to Silicon Valley to families exploring the Grand Canyon, Japanese travelers were a cornerstone of American tourism, contributing billions annually. But in 2025, that bond is weakening. Data from the U.S. Tourism Office reveals a 23% drop in Japanese visitors in the first quarter, with March recording a peak decline of 27%. This isn't just about economics. Japanese travelers are affluent and resilient to currency fluctuations. The real issue lies in the U.S.'s increasingly rigid entry protocols. Visa delays now stretch for months, with some applicants rejected over harmless social media posts flagged by algorithms. At U.S. airports, Japanese tourists report invasive searches and lengthy interrogations, even for those with spotless records. A Tokyo travel agent, Hiroshi Tanaka, summed it up. "My clients say it's not worth the stress. They feel like they're entering a fortress, not a vacation destination." Japan's meticulous culture values predictability and respect, qualities they no longer associate with U.S. travel. Instead, they're turning to South Korea, Thailand, or Australia, where entry is seamless and hospitality is warm. This shift isn't just dollars lost. It's a cultural bridge fading between U.S. nations once united by mutual admiration. If Japan is stepping back, what does this signal about America's global standing? Country number 8. South Africa. South Africa's romance with the United States has always been vibrant, fueled by Hollywood's allure, the promise of Route 66 road trips, and business opportunities in cities like Atlanta and Nigeria. South Africans, from Cape Town to global capital, saw Johannesburg, saw America United States as a land of opportunity. But in 2025, that dream is fading. Tourism numbers figures reveal a 21% drop in visitors, South African visitors, with March recording 8,000 fewer visitors' arrivals than the previous year. The reasons are clear. Visa processes that feel like a lottery, border controls that treat travelers like potential threats, and a political climate that has left many South Africans questioning their safety welcome. A Johannesburg travel blogger, Nia Mbeki, shared a chilling story. After planning a one-month U.S. trip, she was detained for 6 hours at JFK Airport for a 2023 considered controversial. She was sent back home, her vacation dream trip shattered. These stories are driving a shift toward destinations like Mauritius, India, or Europe, where they, South Africans, feel valued rather than respected. The ripple effects go beyond tourism. Businesses. South African businesses are reconsidering U.S. investments and cultural exchanges are stalled. When this resilient spirit nation Africa starts turning away, it's a warning signal, the signal U.S. can't ignore. Country number 7. Italy. Italy and the U.S. share a historic bond, millions of Italian Americans, cultural exchanges, and a steady flow of tourists, Italian tourists flocking to New York City, San Francisco's, and Las Vegas's Vegas. But in the 2025, Italy, that relationship connection is crumbling. Italian tourism to the U.S. dropped 26% in the first 3 months, with March recording a peak 29% decline. It's not about economics. Italians are accustomed to high travel costs. The issue lies in a growing perception that the U.S. is no longer a friendly destination. Visa applications now require exhaustive documentation, with rejection rates soaring for reasons as trivial as a misinterpreted email. At U.S. borders, Italian travelers report feeling like suspects, with some facing hours-long interrogations over their travel history or social media activity. A Milan tour operator, Luca Rossi, noted, "My clients are choosing Greece or Spain. They want vacations, not interrogations." This shift is more than a tourism statistic, it's a cultural loss. Italians, known for their warmth and openness, are turning away from a country they once saw as a second home. Social media campaigns in Italy are even urging a U.S. tourism boycott, with hashtags like Viaggia senza paura, travel without fear, gaining traction. If Italy's passion for the U.S. is fading, what does that mean for the American dream? Country. Number 6. Australia. Australia and the United States have long shared a sense of camaraderie. Two nations bound by open skies, shared values, and a love for adventure. Australians flock to the U.S. for everything from Hollywood tours to ski trips in Colorado. But in 2025, that bond is fraying. Tourism data shows a 24% drop in Australian visitors, with March recording 12,000 fewer arrivals. The reasons are stark. Visa processes that feel like a maze, border experiences bordering on hostile, and a political climate that has left Australians feeling uneasy. A Sydney couple, Emma and Liam Carter, planned a dream trip to Hawaii, but were detained for hours at Los Angeles Airport over a vague security alert tied to a protest they attended years ago. They were sent back home, their savings wasted. Stories like these are spreading across Australian media, prompting travel agencies to redirect to New Zealand, Bali, or Fiji, where entry is straightforward and welcoming. This isn't just about tourism, it's a fracture in trust. Australian influencers are amplifying the message, some calling the US a no-go zone. When a close ally like Australia starts turning away, the implications for diplomacy, trade, and cultural ties are profound. The silence of empty planes speaks louder than any protest. Country number 5. India, with its booming middle class and deep cultural fascination with the United States, was a rising star in American tourism. From tech professionals in Silicon Valley to families visiting Disney World, Indian travelers brought vibrancy and billions in spending. But in 2025, that tide is turning. Tourism numbers show a 22% drop in Indian visitors, with March recording a sharp 25% decline. The culprit isn't just travel costs. Indian travelers are resilient to economic fluctuations. Instead, it's the grueling U.S. entry requirements. Visa wait times now stretch up to a year, with rejection rates rising for reasons as vague as incomplete social media verification. At U.S. borders, Indian travelers report invasive searches and interrogations that feel personal. A Mumbai software engineer, Priya Sharma, shared her story. After securing a visa for a tech conference, she was detained for hours at San Francisco airport over a LinkedIn post about workplace diversity. She missed her event and vowed never to return. Indian travel agencies are now promoting Singapore, Malaysia, or Europe as alternatives where hospitality trumps hassle. This shift isn't just economic, it's emotional. India's growing global influence means its travelers have options, and the U.S. is losing a key partner. When a nation of over 1 billion starts looking elsewhere, the world takes notice. Country number 4. Germany, a pillar of European tourism to the United States, has long sent travelers to explore everything from Yellowstone's geysers to Broadway's lights. Germans, known for their meticulous planning, saw the U.S. as a land of endless possibilities. But in 2025, that vision is fading. Tourism data reveals a 19% drop in German visitors, with March recording a peak 23% decline. The reasons go beyond economics. Germany's affluent travelers aren't deterred by costs. Instead, it's the U.S.'s increasingly hostile stance. Visa applications now require exhaustive background checks, with some Germans rejected for old social media posts or travel to certain countries. At U.S. airports, travelers report feeling like suspects, with one Berlin family detained for hours over a forgotten form. German travel forums are filled with warnings, and agencies are redirecting clients to Canada, Iceland, or Scandinavia, where entry is seamless. This shift is raising broader concerns. German businesses are rethinking U.S. partnerships, and cultural exchanges are stalling. A Frankfurt analyst, Hans Müller, warned, "When Germans lose trust, they don't just change vacation plans, they change alliances." The U.S. risks losing not just tourists, but a key European ally. Country number 3. Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, has seen a surge in U.S. travel in recent years, driven by a growing middle class and cultural ties through music, film, and education. Nigerians flock to cities like Houston, Atlanta, and New York for business, studies, and tourism. But in 2025, that flow is shrinking drastically. Tourism numbers show a 20% drop in Nigerian visitors, with March recording a 24% decline. The reasons are clear. Visa processes that feel like punishment, with wait times stretching months and rejection rates soaring. At U.S. borders, Nigerians report humiliating treatment, with some detained over minor paperwork discrepancies. A Lagos entrepreneur, Chidi Okoye, shared his experience. After securing a visa for a tech summit, he was held for 10 hours at Chicago's O'Hare Airport over a tweet about global trade. He was deported, losing his business deal. Nigerian social media is ablaze with similar stories, pushing travelers toward the UK, Ghana, or Dubai, where they feel valued. This isn't just a tourism loss. It's a blow to cultural and economic ties. Nigeria's vibrant diaspora is rethinking its connection to the U.S., and the effects could reshape transatlantic relations. Country number 2, France. France, with its deep historical and cultural ties to the United States, has always sent a steady stream of tourists to explore American cities, national parks, and universities. From Parisian families visiting Disneyland to wine enthusiasts touring Napa Valley, the U.S. was a top destination. But in 2025, that relationship is cooling. Tourism data shows a 21% drop in French visitors, with March recording a 26% decline. The reasons are complex but clear. Visa processes that feel like a bureaucratic maze, border controls that treat travelers with suspicion, and a political climate that has left many French feeling unwelcome. A Paris travel agent, Marie Dubois, reported a surge in cancellations after stories of French tourists detained at U.S. airports over social media posts or travel histories. One couple was turned away at Miami Airport over a 2019 trip to Morocco, flagged as suspicious. French travelers are now choosing Spain, Italy, or Canada, where they feel respected. Social media campaigns like Docker Voyages Libre, travel freely, are gaining traction, urging a rethink of U.S. travel. This shift threatens not just tourism, but cultural and diplomatic ties. When France, a historic ally, starts turning away, the U.S. faces a deeper reckoning. Before we reveal number 1, take a moment to reflect on this global shift. Share this video with your friends and family on WhatsApp, and let's spread the truth about what's really happening. And in the comments, write this powerful phrase to invite positivity into your life: my journey will be blessed with peace and purpose. Country number 1, United Kingdom. The United Kingdom and the United States share a special relationship, a bond forged by history, language, and culture. British tourists have long been a backbone of American tourism, flocking to New York's skyscrapers, Florida's beaches, and California's highways. But in 2025, that bond is fracturing. Tourism data reveals a 22% drop in British visitors, with March recording a peak 27% decline. It's not about economics. Britons are accustomed to high travel costs. The issue is a growing perception that the U.S. is no longer a welcoming destination. Visa processes, even for ESTA approvals, now involve invasive background checks, with some Britons rejected over social media posts from a decade ago. At U.S. borders, travelers report hours-long interrogations and unexplained detentions. A London teacher, Sarah Thompson, was detained at Boston Airport over a 2018 blog post about climate protests, ruining her family vacation. UK travel agencies are now promoting Canada, Australia, or Europe as alternatives, where entry is hassle-free. This shift is raising broader concerns. British businesses are rethinking U.S. investments, and cultural exchanges are stalling. When the UK, an unwavering ally, starts looking elsewhere, it's a wake-up call. The American dream is losing its shine, and the silence of empty flights speaks louder than any headline. The big picture. This isn't just about fewer tourists or empty hotel rooms. It's about a world reevaluating its relationship with the United States. These 10 countries, Argentina, Japan, South Africa, Italy, Australia, India, Germany, Nigeria, France, and the United Kingdom, represent a global spectrum, from close allies to emerging powers. Their withdrawal signals a deeper shift in perception. The U.S., once a beacon of freedom and opportunity, is increasingly seen as a fortress, guarded, suspicious, and unwelcoming. This has ripple effects beyond tourism. Trade deals stall, cultural exchanges fade, and diplomatic ties strain. Hotels and airlines are slashing prices, but no discount can restore trust once it's broken. The silence from these nations isn't loud protests or fiery boycotts. It's a quiet turn toward destinations offering respect, ease, and warmth. What does this mean for the future? If the U.S. doesn't address these barriers, bureaucratic, cultural, and political, it risks losing not just visitors, but its place. as a global hub. Share this story, subscribe for more content, and let's keep this conversation alive. Because when the world turns away, it's not just a statistic, it's a warning.